All right, guys, just like I predicted from my last video, both BitMine Immersion Technologies and SBET have both gone way up because they were undervalued. I showed you why they're undervalued. I'm a real crypto guy. I invest in this stuff. I got 6 figures deep in both Ethereum, Bitcoin, and these things. I understand them. Let me help you guys out. A lot of the stock market guys don't understand how these work. I'm going to help you guys out. First of all, after hours, both of them are up again, and I'm going to explain to you what's going on so you guys get it. And you can see the charts moving up, and you're like, why? Well, I'm going to help you out. So look at this. After hours, SBET is at $24. As I said, it shouldn't be this cheap. It's probably got about $15 or more of backing per token, per stock. So basically, SBET itself should be just fair value on NAV, not taking into account everything else. Should probably be closer to about $30 plus $30 to $35 range. Same thing for BMNR, which basically Tom Lee said he's got about a week ago. He might have more. $22 to $23 of backing per token. So this is backing. These are not my predictions. I'm going to give you my long-term predictions for both so you guys understand what you have to do. This playbook has been played. Crypto is easy to play. Look at my other videos from my other channel. I'll link it down for you guys here, and my Discord and my X account. I predicted the stuff. I study the 4-year cycles in crypto. These are going to be incredible money makers. These are better to own than the ETH ETFs or even Ethereum, and I own a lot of Ethereum. They're better to own. I'm going to explain to you guys why these are better to own so you guys understand the price predictions, okay? So after hours, BitMine is at almost $43, and its fair market value is probably about $45 based on its numbers right now, but it's going to go higher, and you can kind of see the strength right here. Now, what is causing the strength? First, Ethereum. This is the triple top. Hit 39, about 39.60 right now. It needs to get past about 4,100. This is the triple top right here. Has to break around 4,100. Once it does that, it's going to break these old highs. It's going to go into price discovery, okay? Where does price discovery take us? Well, price discovery is going to take us to the promised land, okay? That's kind of what it is. That's the way these things have always worked. When you look at, and you're like, well, why don't I just go buy ETH? Why don't I go buy ETH? Well, you got to just look at MicroStrategies. What went up more, MicroStrategies or Bitcoin? All MicroStrategies was doing was buying Bitcoin. Which one went up more? If you look at MicroStrategies down here, you could have bought it as late as January of 20 or February of 2024. Okay. For about $50. Before that, it was about, you're looking at about $30. Even earlier than that, it was about $20. Went all the way to $400. You're basically looking between, you could have done a 15x to 20x, depending on when you bought it, okay? So when you're looking at something like this, you've done more X's than Bitcoin. I've done a lot of X's on my Bitcoin. I've done about 5 or 6. I haven't done anywhere near 20, and I was buying during the lows. I would have been better off buying MicroStrategy. So I've learned from, I won't call it a mistake, but I've learned from the trade. I understand how this trade works now. I was buying Bitcoin in 2022 and 2023. I should have been buying MicroStrategies because even though I've done a 5x, 6x on my Bitcoin, it's kind of pales to the fact that I could have bought this and done. Let's say I didn't even buy it at the bottom. Let's say I paid a little bit more. Let's say I paid $30 for it, okay? Let's just say, I would have been 13x, but it would have been 10x. It would have been double. It would have been double the amount I made off of Bitcoin. If I had, let's say, bought 5 Bitcoin for $100,000, or I put $100,000 in MicroStrategies, my $100,000 in MicroStrategies would already be worth over $1 million, but my Bitcoin would be worth about a little bit over $500,000, $600,000. It's a huge difference, guys. It's a huge difference. I'm not trying to make the same error twice. It wasn't an error. I still did well. But if you have the opportunity to invest in a BMNR or an SBET, do so because they will outperform Ethereum. Now, there will be rocky, it will be volatile, it will be crazy, it will give you anxiety, but it is what it is. This is what it is. This has already been done. The path has been set. It has been done already. You guys learn from the past, learn from what they're doing. They're basically copying Michael Saylor, okay? That's it. That's all they're doing. All you got to do is look at the chart And now you can kind of see what happened and the explosion. Now, the main reason right now you're starting to see both of these take off is, first of all, people are starting to understand this as a mechanism of getting yield. But what they mean by yield is increasing the backing per stock over time by purchases, which is, for example, what they did today. Sharplink did another $200 million. You want them to keep buying Ethereum. You want them to keep buying as much as possible. Now, there's a few things I didn't like about this. I didn't like the fact they sold their shares at $19.50. That kind of bothers me. When I know that Sharplink had $15 worth of backing, the difference wasn't huge. You know what I mean? But it's early going, so I'm not that worried. But also owning more ETH is probably better than not owning ETH, because ETH is not going to be $3,900 by the end of the year or next year. It's going to be much higher. So it's still a nice profit to have, but per share backing only increased maybe like a little bit. It didn't increase enough. And that's the kind of problem I have with this kind of stuff. They got to sell their shares double NAV. The share price has to be higher, which is what was going on with MicroStrategies. That's why they were able to do what they did. Now, what they got to do is also sell a lot of sub notes. So once they start selling their notes, once they start selling the bonds and start selling it at hopefully a good, interest rate, that will change everything. Then they can just keep adding to the share price per backing, and backing increases. Okay, so this is what's going on. So what are my price predictions? Listen, this path has already been set. We already know where this is going. Well, I do at least. And okay, it also you have to also understand where crypto is going, where Ethereum is going, what they're trying to set up with Ethereum by making it basically the most decentralized. It is the most decentralized chain. It is also, the whole being a stable chain narrative, and all the narratives are coming up. Where they're trying to take Ethereum is to the promised land. And what I mean by that is they're trying to take the sky high. This is what Wall Street does. Tom Lee is very smart. Okay, these guys aren't even aiming for 20,000, 30,000. They think they can take Ethereum to 100,000 plus over a period of time. This is what they're thinking. They're on a whole different level than even crypto is. And that's what you're seeing with Bitcoin. That's why Bitcoin is at the levels it is, because Wall Street, Michael Saylor and his boys and all these treasury companies got involved. They're doing the same with Ethereum. So wake up. This is an easy trade. Number one. Number two, Ethereum was probably going to go between 6,000 to 8,000 without their help. Anyways, it was probably going to go in that range within the next year, I'd put it. So the fact that these guys are coming in, you're probably accelerating that situation a lot faster, and you're probably top cycle. I was thinking top probably ends up between 7 and 8. Now my top price is probably between 12 and 15, maybe gets 16, 17 based on the calculations I've made, which I have in my other video. You got to watch my other video, guys. Just go back to my channel and watch the other ones that I've done on this and why. But this is a situation. Where can we go with SBET and our buddies over at BMNR? Where is this going to go? First of all, I believe the backing per token, once they start selling the sub notes, listen, these companies have been around a little bit over 30 days. Give them some time. It's nothing. Where they are right now is incredible for 30 days. It's incredible. They are trying to purchase 5% of all ETH. It's going to take billions and billions and billions of dollars, about $20 billion each. It's going to be huge. Okay? The amount of money that they need is enormous, and they might end up buying out each other. BitMine is probably going to at some point buy out SBET. It's just reality of it. Now, what is it that we can expect from this? I think on the short term, end of the year, you're probably going to see BitMine have a backing. I would assume with how aggressive Tom Lee is being, I think we're probably going to see just the backing, meaning how much each BitMain stock has behind it, ETH backing. Right now he's at $22. He went from literally $4 to $22. So it's going to slow down. But if we look at MicroStrategies, there's an aha moment. Went from $30 to $58, and then it just went. Okay? And then it just went. There's an aha moment. And it went partially because the price of Bitcoin went up. Okay, so that now actually ends up helping them, because then they end up raising even more money and more money and more money. This is what you started seeing within this cycle right here. This is when he became even more aggressive in buying. He had more abilities to go and buy. So this is what you guys have to understand. So what is it that we're seeing? I think the setup here for the end of the year for BitMine is probably to have we only got about 4 months left. I would say between 45 and conservatively $45 and $60 of backing per stock in Ethereum. And that's because price of Ethereum, if it doubles from here, they would have $40 right now, which possibly the price of Ethereum might double. Think about that for a second. That's how they don't even need to buy more Ethereum and they could have $40 of backing, meaning the price would be $80 to $120 no matter what by the end of the year. It's a no-brainer. And that's basically them not even doing much. That's my very conservative numbers, basically going to about $120, which is a 3x. $80 would be my low end, 120 would be my high end. Okay? And that is being conservative. Now, if we're going to go into a bull case scenario, I think they continue to purchase. They continue to purchase early, which is what they got to do. I believe they take their backing to about $60 to $80. We could see $120 to $160 stock early next year, January, February. Not necessarily end of the year. For that, we might need a little bit more time because for them to get that much stock, and it depends how much subordinate notes we get. This could become easily anywhere between a 3x and a 6x, somewhere in there on a bull case scenario. And longer term, I think this continues to go. And I think this continues to go when you understand what they're trying to turn Ethereum narrative into. I think this is well over a $200, $300 stock. That's plain and simple. Okay, now we're looking at SBET. SBET is a $20, $23 undervalued. It's not being valued as highly. It's about $24. It's not being valued as highly as BitMine, because it's smaller, but it's not that much smaller, number one. They're being aggressive. They're doing all the right stuff. They actually have a whole game plan. They actually have a gaming sector. They said they're going to talk about doing earnings. They're going to be very aggressive with a lot of things that they're doing, which is the stuff I love to hear. This is the correct path. Now, where will this go? Well, they got about $15 of backing, while BitMine has about $23 of backing. Not too different, okay? So what I think this is more to run. This has got to go to about $30 to be valued at the same level as BitMine. So it's a little bit undervalued compared to BitMine and compared to the other ones. Okay, so this should get to about 30, and then long term, what I believe this is going to happen is if they start selling their bonds and their notes, you're probably looking at about end of the year conservative. They should have minimum $30 to $40 worth of backing per share worth of ETH. Okay, that should put us between the $60 and $80 range conservatively. That's 4x, 3x, 4x from here. No matter what, it's going to be the same as what you saw with BitMine. And if we're going to on a really bullish case scenario, I think what we're going to see here is they're going to have a chance to probably get up to about $50, $60 backing per token, including backing per stock, including if the price of SBET goes up. And I think you're talking about a bull case scenario where you could see a little bit higher than that, depending on where the price of Ethereum goes. So I'm looking at about $100 to about $100, and I would say anywhere between $100 and $130 end of the year. $120, $130. And it also depends on obviously the price of Ethereum. And that's where I think this could land. This could be a 5x, 6x also. And that's the bull case scenario. They're both kind of going to do the same numbers, like ratio wise, percentage wise, they're going to do same numbers. But what you're going to see is hopefully you're going to see Sharplink catch up. You're going to have to, they have to do a little bit better job communicating. Tom Lee does a great job. They're going to have to kind of set a roadmap a little bit more clearly what they're doing and raise money more aggressively, because Tom Lee is just going balls out. He's just going out. So to me, these are the deals. Now you're like, well, the risks are that Ethereum goes down. I've seen some people. You guys don't understand crypto. I keep telling you that these are the cycles. I've seen it 4 other times. Bitcoin moves first, which it did. Hallelujah. Ethereum then moves. What happens to Ethereum? Ethereum last bull cycle went to 85% of the value of Bitcoin. If it goes to 85% of the value of Bitcoin, which I'm not even going to go to 85, I'm going to go to 65%. If it goes to 65% of the value of Bitcoin this time around, and Bitcoin goes minimum conservatively $150,000, that puts Ethereum at $16,500. No matter what you want to do, this is just how crypto works. I know it sounds crazy to people in the stock market, but this is just the way it is, guys. It's happened. I've seen it 3 other times. It's exactly what has happened. So, sorry, 2 other times. It's exactly what's happened. Okay, the first time Ethereum flipped Bitcoin went to 105%. Second time it only hit 85%. So this time I'm saying it's only going to get to 65% of the value. So it could get between 16,000 and 20,000 depending on the price of Bitcoin. This is just a reality of how these things work. It's a global market. It's different than anything else you guys have ever seen. It is a rising technology. It is what it is. If you want to understand more of it, I have more videos on my other channel. You can link in my description here somewhere on YouTube, and you can find my other channel. It's called Crypto Circus. So that's the way these things are. You can also follow me on X, so I put out information or ask me questions on my Discord. I have all the links from my description. You can go check it out. Make sure to sub and all that good stuff because I got real education here. I'm a real investor. I have a lot of money in this stuff, including crypto, mainly in crypto. But however, the stock market is going to outperform crypto when it comes to ETH and Bitcoin because of MicroStrategies and these treasury companies. The stock market will always outperform them. We've learned this. I'm not making I don't want to call it an error because I've done well, but I could have done better. So this time what I'm going to do, I might even sell some of my ETH and go buy more Sharplink and more BitMine, to be very honest with you, because this is where you need to put your money. This is where it has to be. You know? It's just, I don't know what to tell you guys. It sounds insane. It does. I sound like a crazy person. But the facts of the matter is this is where we need to be. And I mean, it's when you start looking at the chart of MicroStrategies, the story is right there. I mean, MicroStrategies a couple of days ago went down to 360. It's back over 400. Once Bitcoin erupts, I mean, this thing's going to move way faster than Bitcoin again, but it's more mature. It's a lot larger. These are these are tiny little companies worth a couple $1 billion. MicroStrategies is over $100 billion. All right. These are things to remember. The backing per token on these two stocks, I keep saying tokens, sorry, of these two stocks is going to increase dramatically over the next few months. It will be insane. So that's what you guys have to look forward to. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be hella volatile, by the way. It's going to be super volatile. And it is what it is. Enjoy the ride. You know, some people are probably going to figure out how to make money off the calls, also selling them, whether it's calls or puts. And because you get a hell of a premium, you're probably going to figure that out. Just owning the stock and probably selling calls or puts on them, you're probably going to make a nice amount of money on those too. So there's all sorts of people going to start driving up the price in here, which is what happened to MicroStrategies also back then and even now. And that's why you see MicroStrategies is just so damn resilient. I mean, it's been holding over 400 since April. I mean, that's insane. Oh, more. Sorry. Yeah, April. That's insane. That's insane. This is an insane number to hold itself over. Anyway, guys, I hope that information was good. Don't be a pussy is all I got to tell you. Learn from, I'm not going to say a mistake because I didn't make a mistake. I did well in both ETH and Bitcoin. But this is a time during these type of markets, interest rates are going to come down. These are the times you take some risk. This is it. This is what it is. All right. Yes, it's going to be volatile and you could lose all your money. No one's telling you can't because this stuff is insane. It is. It really is. Crypto is insane. But when you add this other layer of the stock market over it, you're on a whole nother path. And people who paid over $100 for SBET and BitMine are probably like, oh, we messed up. But that's where you got to educate yourself. And I'm one of the few people who owns these stocks and owns these cryptos, and I understand them. And that's why I don't get in until I get facts and numbers and knowing the exact numbers of where they should be. This is all math. If you're good at math, you'll do well in trading these particular stocks. If you're not good at math, you will lose your money and you will buy this at like $100, which yeah, I mean, oh my God, did it go even higher than that? It's just some crazy numbers it went to. Oh, sorry. I'm looking at the wrong one. I was like, why is it so high? Yeah, I think BitMine and what's this other one? SBET, both, I don't know. Looks like my trading view is stalling. But yeah, they both went over 100. And that's just what it is. You got to be a little smarter out there. And, you know, I'll keep posting on my X so you guys can get updates of where things are going. I'll give you some more updated videos and we'll go from there. Take care, guys.